Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well out there. Today we're going to talk about a stock that is doing really well today, and I thought we'll speak about this and why it's doing amazing. It's a stock I own, and I've talked about it recently on the channel quite a bit, and I thought it was a good time to reflect on a stock that's doing really well. I always feel like sometimes that on this channel I get so many questions about when stocks go down. And I actually talked about this the other day when last week we had a bit of a tough day in the market, and I had about a million questions on, I can't remember which two stocks it was that were dropping. Was it National Express and InMode? I got about a million questions on the Discord, on YouTube, commenting about talking about them because they're down. And today I've got a stock that I own that's up, and I'll let you guess how many people have mentioned it. 0. And I was talking about this the other day, is like the difference between the feeling out there when a stock is going down, it's the end of the world, everyone's worried about it, everyone's thinking, oh, panic stations, is this something to be worried about, or is this company going wrong, it's a bad company, do I sell the company? Obviously, so I think a few people are in that point of view going, oh, this looks actually maybe a buying opportunity, I'll buy the stock. And I think a few people are from that point of view. But I'd only say around about 25%. I would say the rest of the 75% is like panic stations when the stock's going down. And sometimes I feel like the channel can get sometimes dictated towards talking about them stocks, and that's a change that I tried to make in the last kind of 12 months, is that I've tried to still talk about stocks that are going down, but also to reflect on stocks that are going up and my feelings on that, and talking about things in a positive, because if you end up focusing on the negative stuff, you end up maybe with a negative mindset all the time, and I think it's good to reflect on positive things as well. So we're going to talk about a stock that's on fire. Before we do get onto that, a couple of things that I want to shout out. First of all, stock requests. So you guys on the Patreon, if you do want to join, £5 a month, you get 2 exclusive videos a week on there, a Discord with 500 members to talk about stocks, and I also give you 2 exclusive videos. The guys on the Discord decided to vote for YouGov, and I took a look at YouGov and gave my thoughts on it. It's around about a 20-minute video, so if you're on the Patreon, go check that out, and if you do want to support the channel, links in the description. Very interesting stock. What's happening today is quite funny. The stock market actually opened up quite negative, and since then it's actually had a bit of a rebound. But even when the stock market was down on the S&P 500, I was looking and I was thinking my portfolio is actually doing really well today, which was quite funny. And it probably helps that one of the stocks is doing very well today. But when you look at Nvidia was down 3.8% today, and that's probably one of the big contributors of why the S&P is down. What's quite funny is when you went out of the big tech, look at the S&P 600. Actually up today. We've not seen this too often, where we've actually seen the big companies down and the S&P down, and the S&P 600 going, no, we're not following you today. We're going up today. Being a while since we've seen this happen, and definitely over a longer period, we've not seen this happen for a while. And when you look at the Russell was up 1.33% today. And that's where you look out, like we've seen the likes of Nvidia control the market, and when Nvidia's up, everything looks green out there, but now Nvidia is down and the whole S&P is getting dragged down. My always worry was that the S&P 600 would follow them and the Russell would follow them, and they didn't. They did not follow them today. They actually went up, which is really good. And then when you start looking at them top members, you look at the King was up 2% today. InMode, once again, we're talking about buyers coming in the last few days, and seems to be, since we did hit that rock bottom last week, a few people have been looking to buy into Nvidia. PayPal, once again, PayPal going green, which is very rare, but obviously still at very interesting values. Once again, a little bit frustrating because this one, Etsy, is going up once again. We talked about this, there's a few stocks going down at the moment. This was the one that needs to go in the going down pile, not going up pile, which is being a little bit annoying. But I just want to talk about DraftKings really quickly before we get onto the stock that is going to be the main talking point today. DraftKings today obviously is doing really well, and it's a stock that's held up very well as well recently. And I was looking, and the reason why the stock probably be going up recently, and I posted this on the Discord, is the New Jersey handle was up 55% year over year. This is really good news. And remember, New Jersey's DraftKings oldest state. This is a state they've been in now for 6 years. I believe this is the 6th year they've been in New Jersey. So the fact that this is a mature state that is profitable, and people don't realise that DraftKings does not need these new states for the growth to be absolutely insane. They can have these older states still grow at really good rates. You're talking about a state that is like 6 years old, and the handle's still growing 55% year over year. It's fantastic, and this is why this is an area that's been slept on for a while, is that a lot of people are not realising that DraftKings doesn't need states to open up for them to do well. They can make good money on their mature states, the states that have been around for a while. So this is really good news, and maybe that's pricing in going, hold on, if they're doing that well in September, these earnings are going to come in strong. And I was looking at DraftKings last year and I was thinking, I mean, the last year's numbers were absolutely amazing. But if you remember, the stock actually went down on these Q3 earnings. And the reason why is they came out with the guidance in the Q3 earnings. And hopefully this year they don't do this. They don't come in with Q3 with the guidance for the next year. That's what they did last year. And hopefully they don't do it this year and save it for Q4. But I was looking at the progress that DraftKings had made. And I was looking right now. I went a year ago. Not actually even a year ago. I went 6 months ago. If I went a year ago, it was even better. But only 6 months ago, I was looking at what the analysts were expecting for this year. And this is only 6 months ago. They were expecting a negative 207. Right now, they're expecting a 1.64. That's a really good increase. You look at the revenue growth, 33% year over year revenue growth this year. The updated forecasts are currently 57% year over year revenue growth. So the company from only 6 months ago, the profitability is going a lot quicker in the right direction, and the growth is still going higher and higher, which is absolutely crazy. And if I was to go a year ago, it would have looked even more impressive. And I was looking at the recent quarter and I was like, I think they're going to come in with a lot higher EPS. I would expect EPS to come around maybe negative 60, 0.60. Revenue, 56% year over year growth. I think they could come in with a 70+% revenue growth. So it shows you sometimes don't see the progress that they're actually making. And if I showed you this 6 months ago and where they're at right now, absolutely crazy. But the stock I wanted to talk about today, and the stock that's making big moves, is Money Supermarket. Money Supermarket was up 9% today. That's a really good move. And like I said, everyone's kind of at the point of view where they're green eyes. When people are seeing the stocks go up, it's quiet. Everyone's like, "Oh, getting excited." And then as soon as it goes down, it's like panic stations. If we saw Money Supermarket down 9% today, we would have seen a total different reaction. And obviously a company that I've been buying up for a while. Once again, I did want to buy a few more shares in this one, but I still have a good position. I wanted to buy a few. I wanted to actually make this probably maybe a top 3, maybe even top 5 position, but it's probably more around my kind of 7th or 8th. So still not a bad size position in the UK portfolio. Obviously, it does mean the earnings basis does move up a bit, but obviously for me, I'm going to be collecting a 5% dividend yield today. And the numbers were really good, especially when you look at travel insurance and the car insurance as well. Car and home insurance was very, very good growth. Travel insurance, I am worried that that's going to probably slow down in the next 12 months. That is something that I did think about, but they obviously confirmed the guidance, which is very good, and I think a few people might have been a little bit worried over it. But car insurance, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but my car insurance came through the other day, and last year I paid like £330 or something like that. This year, like, it jumped up to like 700 and something. It was crazy. Like, it at least doubled, more than doubled in a year. So there's no surprise. It seems like a lot of car insurance and home insurance, like the deals that are out there, like they've tried to hike up the premiums absolutely crazy. So the other thing that wasn't mentioned, and still I think people are sleeping on here, is the home services. When the energy price comparison does come back, this is, that's a major part of the business that's going to improve the profitability and the revenue, and that's still got to come back. So as I said, like, I think the travel part of the business will eventually show a slowdown, I believe. I believe that will be okay, because hopefully by then we have the energy parts of the business coming back in the next kind of 12 months. And that makes up for the slowdown in the travel market. And once again, we see the company going in a very good direction. But yeah, obviously really good numbers from Money Supermarket today. Deserved a 9% pop. I would love to get this once again a bit more towards the £2 range. But if it does run up from here, I've got plenty of shares. Obviously, we'll be collecting a 5% dividend yield from here, and I'm excited where the business goes, and especially when we see the more of the kind of space of the home insurance, home energy come back, and the home services come back. It's going to be a very good company, and I really do like this one. And it's obviously flying at the moment, and I still think it's got many exciting things coming for it. Anyway, so yeah, just a couple of talking points that I want to talk about today. I was actually going to do a video on a new stock that I bought recently, but I've not got time to completely put them sort of videos. Take me a good kind of 3-4 hours to put together, so I've not got the time to put that together today, so I will try and do that one tomorrow for you guys. I've recently bought 2 new stocks, so I'll talk about maybe one of them tomorrow, and then I'll probably do the next one maybe next week anyway. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you could hit the like button, if you're not here, subscribe, and I'll see you in a bit.